In this lesson, we're going to be looking at adding and subtracting expressions. Let's focus on adding expressions first. Expressions can be added by simplifying and combining like terms. Be sure your answers are written so that the terms with the term with the variable is first in your expression. So when we're combining like terms, if we focus on our variable terms first, this will always be true. We want our variable term to be first and our constant to be last in our answer. So let's take a look at a few examples. Number 1, we're adding because of the addition sign in the middle, and we're adding two expressions, negative 4k minus k and 12k minus 2. Since we're adding, we simply need to just combine our like terms. So we're going to start with our variable terms and combine negative 4k plus 12k. Negative 4 plus 12 is 8, and their common variable is k. Then we're going to combine our constant, negative 4 and negative 2. Negative 4 minus 2 is negative 6. So when we add these two expressions, we get 8k minus 6. Number 2. Again, I know I'm adding these expressions because of the plus sign, so I just need to combine my like terms, focusing on my variable terms first. So we're going to focus on negative 8x and 5x. Negative 8 plus 5 is negative 3, and that common variable is x. Then we focus on our constant, 5 and negative 1. 5 minus 1 is negative 3, because remember, we're reading it from left to right. So when I add these two expressions, I get negative 3x minus 4. I'm sorry, that should be a plus 4. Number 3. Again, we're adding because of the plus sign between our two expressions. So focusing on our variable terms first, negative 7m plus 4 is negative 3m. And then 7 minus 13 is negative 6. Go ahead and highlight number 4 through 8. And let's take a look at subtracting. Subtracting is a little bit different. Expressions can also be subtracted by combining like terms, but this is where the difference is. Be sure to distribute the negative term or the negative first. So this step is where adding and subtracting expressions is different. But once we distribute that negative, it's just like adding. So let's take a look at some examples. Number 9. Just like with adding, we know we're subtracting because of the subtraction sign between my two expressions. Remember, this is like having a negative 1. So we're going to distribute that negative 1 to everything inside this second set of parentheses. Because remember, we only distribute what is right in front of our parentheses. So that's not going to change our first expression, 8n plus 3, but that will change the second expression. So distributing that negative, remember we multiply. Negative 1 times 7 is negative 7n, and negative 1 times 6 is negative 6. From here, we can combine our like terms. Again, focusing on our variable terms first. So 8n minus 7n, which is just n. And then our constants. 3 minus 6 is negative 3. So our final answer is n minus 3. Number 10. I know I'm subtracting because of the subtraction sign between my two expressions. With subtraction, we have to distribute that negative 1. Distributing the negative 1 only goes to our second set of parentheses, so that's not going to change our first expression, 5x minus 7. Then I'm going to multiply that negative 1 times negative 2x. Negative 1 times negative 2 is a positive 2x, and then negative 1 times negative 6 is a positive 6. Then I can combine my like terms. Looking at our variable terms first, so 5x plus 2x. 5 plus 2 is 7x. Negative 7 plus 6 is negative 1. Let's take a look at a couple more examples. Number 11, I'm subtracting, so our first expression stays the same. And then we're going to distribute our negative into the second expression. We're going to multiply that by negative 1. So negative 1 times 1 is negative 1, and negative 1 times 7n is negative 7n. Focusing on the variable terms first, we're going to combine negative n minus 7n. So remember, that's like saying negative 1n. So negative 1 minus 7 is negative 8n. Then our constants, negative 3 minus 1 is negative 4. And remember, this is another way of simplifying, so you should end up with less terms than you started with. Number 12, I'm subtracting, so my first expression stays the same, and then we distribute the negative. Remember, we only distribute when it's a subtraction problem. Once I distribute that negative, I get negative 10 plus x, because a negative times a negative is a positive. I then can combine negative 6x plus x. Remember, that's like a negative 1. So negative 6 plus 1 is negative 5x. And then negative 9 minus 10 is negative 19. Go ahead and highlight number 13 through 20. At the bottom, we have some mixed practice, 21 through 26. Go ahead and highlight those. Just be careful when you're solving those to pay attention if it's an addition or a subtraction problem. Make sure you're paying attention to the sign between your expressions, and that will tell you if it's addition or subtraction. And if it's subtraction, make sure you distribute the negative 1 before you combine like terms.